What if the reason you aren't successful yet is simply because you haven't failed enough? Let's tell a story, then dive right in.
This is JJ, and his mustache is just plain ridiculous. JJ is an artist, you see. Look at my beautiful art. I was inspired. One day, his funky boss comes up to him. JJ, that is trash. We need to appeal to a younger audience. Redraw everything. Poor JJ didn't know what to do. His art was mature and edgy. He never had to switch his style this drastically before. He made drawing after drawing after drawing. This isn't it. That's not it either. None of this is good, JJ complained. Then his coworker Sarah showed up. JJ, what the is all this? The boss said my art was trash. I don't know what to do, Sarah, JJ whined. Boy, just submit something. You know the deadline is coming up, Sarah said. Then a flustered JJ said, You trying to set me up? I failed once. I ain't trying to do it again. Sarah became perturbed. First of all, the only thing that failed around here is that crooked ass mustache. So JJ splashed some paint on her. Because how dare that hoe? She just mad because Tisha is thick and she is a stick. Ultimately, JJ couldn't decide what to submit. They were all bad to him. So he decided to submit them all. Maybe I'll get lucky and my funky boss will like one of them. JJ had hope. Painting number 1. That ain't it. 2. This ain't that. 3. What the is that? How many times you plan on failing here, JJ? We have a deadline, and you're out of the line when I need you to be in the line. To be continued.
Hello YouTube, I'm Trenzel and I'm here for your self-growth, and today I will be giving you tips on how to fail your way to success. Number 1. Failure is a feature of success, not a bug. Failure and success goes hand in hand. It's not exclusive to one or the other. They're both one and the same. When you're riding a bike, for example, we don't fall off the bike and assume that, okay, we fell off, we failed, oh well. Let's just give up, pack it up, go home. Doesn't work like that. We get on the bike, we try again, then we fall again. Maybe we hurt ourselves once or twice. I scarred myself once trying to ride a bike. But we continue going. We continue riding the bike. We get on and off, on and off, and on and off. And we continue failing. We don't treat real life that way. When we fail, it's treated as a personal failure, as something that we did wrong, as a personal thing. And we take it personally. Instead of divorcing our self-identity from the failure we get labeled as a failure almost. Not good at all. We want to treat failure as something that's supposed to happen on the way to success. Therefore, it's a feature, not a bug. It's something that you look forward to. It's something that you expect to happen. Not something that you will never experience. It's to be expected. Especially when you're on routes and roads that aren't necessarily traditional. When you're trying to do something that you have never done before, something that no one's ever done before, even worse. And I believe I'll speak to this point more later. You find yourself not knowing what to do, not knowing how to do it. And in this way, you will fail. It's expected. You're supposed to. But you get back up, you get back on the bike, and you keep riding until you succeed. And eventually, you won't fail anymore. Then it's on to the next challenge, and then you'll fail again. It's something that you have to get accustomed to. It's something that you have to get used to. This is the process. The process involves failing. No one expects to get on the bicycle on the first try. They are perfectly able to ride. Nobody expects that the moment they're handed a basketball, they're perfectly able to play like Michael Jordan. We don't expect these things. Yet oftentimes we are treated as if that's supposed to be the case. We're shunned for being failures, you're supposed to just practice over and over and over. But we've gotten so scared of failure, so horribly scared that we just don't even try. We're so afraid that the fear stops us from trying in the first place. So, really, failure being a process of success, failure being a feature of success, means practicing trying, despite knowing that you're going to fail, doing it anyway. It's that repetition of doing it again and again and again that diffuses the fear of failure and diffuses failure's grip on you. It's about associating failure with positive experiences instead of negative ones all the time, and expecting that we're supposed to be perfect the first time around. Number 2, speaking of perfection, failure teaches us about perfectionism. We as humans, we're not meant to be perfect at everything we do. Everyone is so accepting that no one is perfect. Everyone's so accepting of that. In fact, the term nobody's perfect is treated as so commonplace that it's almost like a platitude. Yet we don't live by those words. We don't live by the words that no one's perfect. When's the last time you failed at something and instead of being scrutinized for it, you were praised for it, embraced for it, motivated by it? Instead, you experience negativity from the failure and you associate that failure with the negativity. And by creating this negative experience in your mind, now, each time you fail, it's associated with a negative experience, whether internally, externally, it doesn't matter. It's associated with a negative experience. And so, despite living by the words, nobody's perfect, despite preaching the words, nobody's perfect, despite everyone saying that, well, nobody's perfect, it's okay. Well, you aren't allowed to actually be imperfect without ridicule or stigma. You fall off the bike and you're worried everyone's looking at you. People laughing at you upside your head. You raise your hand, answer the wrong thing to the teacher. You said the wrong thing. That's not the answer. People laughing at you. You made a mistake. You submit the wrong paperwork, or you said the wrong thing to Tisha or Tasha or something, and now people looking you upside your head. You made a mistake. You failed. You messed up. You were imperfect a few times. And now you're being made fun of. You're being scrutinized. It's a negative experience. The boss calls you back to the back of the office to pull you aside somewhere and say, we're getting some feedback. But it's never really feedback, is it? It's just criticism. But they call it constructive criticism. But when was it ever constructive? When did it feel constructive? The end result is still a negative experience. And when we have this negative experience, we begin internalizing it. And when we internalize it, we start listening to the little voice inside our head. Look at your ass. You fell off that bike again? What's this, the 5th time? No, don't get back up. Matter of fact, stay your ass down. Yeah, that female that walked past? Yeah, she saw. She had pretended like she didn't, but she definitely saw the part where you bust your shit. And she smirked too. I saw that hoe. So listen, everybody saw that part. You have fallen and you can't get up, so call Life Alert, because this is an emergency. As in, see your way home, because you get an F for up and an A for apple head. Extra large. Matter of fact, that's probably why you fail now, because your head thicker than your body. You like what happens when you raise your hand in class just to get the wrong answer. I keep telling you, keep your hand down, stay your ass home, make you some Kool-Aid and calm the down. I'm the voice inside your head. You can't fight me, I'm too smooth. You gon' lose, so hit the snooze. That's right. Okay, he did not have to say all that. Number 3, we often learn more from our failures than our successes. Oftentimes, the universe throws things at us that we weren't prepared for, that we didn't expect, that we didn't plan for. In doing this, failure often shows us our own blind spots and weaknesses. And we can't overcome these blind spots and weaknesses without being first shown them. Success, on the other hand, can breed complacency. You get comfortable if you become too successful. If you succeed at everything you do, why try anything new? In this way, it breeds complacency. Whereas failure, on the other hand, teaches life lessons that stick with you. For example, if you have a failed relationship, you learn several things from that failed relationship that you wouldn't have learned otherwise had you not gotten into the relationship in the first place. Failure provides valuable life lessons, whereas success, you get comfortable. I'll give you an example from myself. In my recent relationship that I had, well, my last relationship anyway, we were together for quite some time, and I didn't know that it was possible to love someone unless you were in a relationship. I associated being deeply in love with someone with being in a relationship, with being in a romantic relationship. I didn't know such a thing was possible outside of that context. Now that we've broken up, I realize that my love for them hasn't reduced in any way, shape, or form. It's not gone. Not gone at all. I love them just as much as I always have. And I wouldn't have never learned that lesson had we not failed. If we had succeeded, I wouldn't have even thought that was possible. Something like that never even crossed my mind. But I learned it through our failure. And I learned the value of not trying to force something to happen when it's not meant to happen. You can still get a lot of value and love and appreciation and care and tenderness from someone, even if they're not in a relationship with you. You can get love from them, and you can love them just as much as if you were in a relationship, even though you're not in a relationship. But a relationship requires a whole other set of expectations. So you end up forcing. Let's not get into that. Gotta move on to the next. We gotta do that. I don't know what that is, but we gotta do that. And we gotta move on. That way. If this video is giving you value, please remember to like and subscribe. And also, again, I want a subscriber, but also comment down below if you're struggling with self-growth journeys like this. I mean, tell me about how failure impacts you. Tell me about your journey with failure. Tell me how it feels to fail. Tell me how it impacts you. Tell me if it's a negative experience or if you've gotten over it. I would love to hear about it. Also, stay tuned for my last step where I give you ways to supercharge your journey towards beating perfectionism. That'll be the last step now. Stay tuned. 3B. 3B. Yes, Lord. I never did that one before. 3B. What's that mean? Failure provides feedback. Now, in this example, we're going to talk about Nintendo. Now, in case you didn't know, Nintendo had a console called the Wii U. The Wii U was their console after the GameCube. They released it in 2014 and it flopped. Didn't do good for them at all. And they was like, oh no, we're Nintendo. We don't know what to do. Mario, Luigi, no, what we're gonna... They was just like that. But they studied and they learned and they analyzed what went wrong with the Wii U. And in the process of learning, they created and crafted the Nintendo Switch, which was their follow-up to the Wii U. It was their next generation system. And that was a massive success because they learned from the feedback of the Wii U. However, they just recently released the follow-up to the Switch. The Switch 2. Okay, so we're 3 generations in now in this conversation. So the Switch 2 is basically a copy-paste of the Switch, of the original Switch. Now, it's not one-to-one, of course, but it's more or less a copy-paste because they were highly successful with the Switch. So they decided, let's do that over again, which is a form of complacency. You see, when they were down and out, they switched it up. And then, once they got successful, they kept it switched. They say, oh no, we're not changing this. We're gonna stay in our complacency seats. We're gonna complacency it up. Success breeds complacency, while failure leads to success. See how that works? You have to fail to succeed.
You get a lot from it.
Number 4, failure is to be embraced, not avoided. We're taught that failure is a bad thing. From a very young age, we're taught this. We're shown the A and B students and they're praised. Oh, good job, A, B students. While the D and F students, they're scolded. Well, how dare you get a D and F? You're not being part of the club here. You need to apply yourself. See what I'm saying? You need to apply. So from a very young age, we're taught that you're supposed to not fail. You're supposed to follow directions. You're supposed to do what you're told. The problem with this is so much of success, especially non-traditional success like entrepreneurship, YouTube, for example, many e-commerce, online success, and a lot of business building. A lot of these principles that lead to financial success, lead to financial freedom, teaches us the exact opposite of these principles. It teaches us to go toward the failure instead of trying to avoid it. It teaches us to go against the grain instead of following directions. The exact opposite of what we learn in schools. So we're conditioned to be fearful of failure. So of course, people take the traditional path over the non-traditional path because failure is embedded in us from a very young age that it's bad. D and F bad, A, B good. This is most obvious when you're doing something that's never been done before. For example, there was no guidebook on how to create the first iPhone. There was no guidebook. There is no guidebook on how to navigate successfully your relationship with its unique circumstances. I wish there was a guidebook that taught me how to navigate my relationships, all of them, like every last one of them, and the unique circumstances that I dealt with in those relationships. But there is no such thing. You have to figure it out. You have to learn. In this way, you're practically set up to fail from the get-go. And I would argue that you're supposed to fail. You're supposed to fail so that way you can learn how to succeed. You accumulate this life experience through failure. So really, the lesson here is to fail faster, not slower. Also, failure often leads to new opportunities, new doors that open. We can't see what's on the other side of something we have yet to experience. So if we don't fail, we don't know what's on the other side of that failure. We don't know what's on the other side of the success either. We don't know what's on the other side of the experience if we haven't experienced yet. We don't know what we don't know. That job that you didn't get might be the very thing that leads you to the job that you're meant to get. You don't know. 5. One success often pays for several failures. People will remember you for your successes, but they will not remember you for your failures, which tend to be overshadowed by your successes. You know, when YouTube was first invented, they were actually a dating site. People don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing about that. Nobody know nothing about it. Why? Because it didn't last. Because it failed. It failed. People don't remember it. Why? Because they remember YouTube for what it is now, not for what it was, not for how it failed in the past, but what it is now. The same applies to you. People remember you for your success. This provides a powerful lesson because just like video games, you only need to win once for all of your efforts to be paid off. Doesn't matter how many times you failed, whether it be getting a new job or becoming wealthy. You only need to win one time in order for all that effort to pay off. You only need to get rich once. You only need to get wealthy once. You only need to be successful once. You only need to get famous once. All the little things you want. You only need to get the job to call you back one time. You just need one job to call you back. It don't matter if you failed 50 times. You get one job to call you back, you win. In fact, success has such outsized, that means they're fat, outsized returns that you will become known for your successes, not your failures. Doesn't matter if you were homeless like Tyler Perry was, like Steve Harvey was. Yes, Steve Harvey and Tyler Perry were once homeless. Doesn't matter if you were homeless like they was. Once you succeed that one time, bam, it's like it never happened. It's like it never occurred. You wasn't homeless? What? I don't know. I don't remember nothing like that. Must not have happened. I think you're tweaking. They rich and famous now. They the good peoples. Number 6, I challenge you to set a goal with the intent of failing. This serves the purpose of disarming the fear of failure and separating it, disassociating it from failure equals bad. You want those things to not be the case. You want to disassociate them. You want to disconnect them. They're not connected. Failure does not equal bad. Failure equals good. I want you to think of failure as a good thing, hence the challenge. Now just imagine all the things you try if you thought failure was a good thing. If you didn't scrutinize yourself over failing. Imagine all the things you try. I know me. The biggest reason why I don't play basketball isn't because I'm short. Okay? It's not the height. Okay? That ain't it. It's because I ain't trying to look stupid missing that hoop. I ain't finna bop and then miss. I ain't trying to do that. I ain't finna bop. I ain't finna do that and then miss. Okay? I be looking like a dang fool. But once you look at failure as a good thing, you're no longer afraid of it anymore. You're like, okay, if I miss, I miss. No big deal. Then you throw it, you miss. It's okay, and so what? But it does make that one success feel so much more sweet because it feels earned. Now, let's continue our story and pick up and see where JJ is at. What happened to him?
JJ studied his failed paintings carefully. Then he began to draw. I will succeed, he affirmed. Then he showed his art to his funky boss. This ain't the demographic, Funky Boss said. But JJ snapped back. The teens loved his art on the social medias. That's why I called up King Boss Man, because I wanted a second opinion. He right. We saw drawings of that style blow up on the gram. JJ, we're gonna have to promote you to Director of the Arts. Congratulations. And just like that, JJ is now the boss. This is JJ. And he failed. All the way to the bank.
Right here. See, I did it. Look at that. Ooh, I'm going to point a little bit more. I'm just going to do this because this is what YouTubers do. They point. They say, watch the videos. They point at the stuffs. But I would like to think that I'm like a YouTuber that might get like two subscribers. Bye.